Imagine this. One summer morning in 1914, a car drives slowly through the streets of Sarajevo. Inside is a man who represents one of the most powerful empires in Europe, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Suddenly, out of the crowd, a young man steps forward, pulls out a pistol, and fires 2 shots. In seconds, the Archduke and his wife are dead. Now here's the crazy part. That gunshot didn't just kill 2 people. It triggered a chain reaction that would drag the entire world into war. Within weeks, soldiers from Europe, Asia, Africa, and beyond would be marching to battle. By the end, over 20 million lives would be lost. So how did one assassination spiral into the deadliest war the world had ever seen? Let's rewind the story and watch the dominoes fall. Before we get to Sarajevo, we need to understand why Europe was already sitting on a powder keg. In the early 1900s, Europe looked powerful and confident, but beneath the surface, it was unstable. 5 huge empires dominated the continent: the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Russian Empire, the German Empire, the Ottoman Empire, and the British Empire. They projected strength across the world, but many of them were old, diverse, and full of ethnic tensions that made them fragile. Nationalism was rising. Groups like the Serbs, Czechs, and Poles wanted independence. Militarism was rising too. Every great power was building massive armies and new battleships. And then there were the alliances. Europe had basically split into 2 camps. On one side, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy, the Triple Alliance. On the other, France, Russia, and Britain, the Triple Entente. These alliances were supposed to keep peace through balance, but in reality, they meant that if one country got into a fight, all their friends would be dragged in. It was like everyone in the neighborhood had joined 2 rival gangs, and they were all armed to the teeth. All it would take was a spark to set it off. That spark came on June 28, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was visiting Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia. Bosnia had recently been annexed by Austria-Hungary, but many people living there were Slavs who wanted independence, and they weren't happy about being ruled by Vienna. Enter the Black Hand, a secret nationalist group from Serbia. Their goal, to free Slavic people from Austrian rule. Their plan, assassinate the Archduke while he toured Sarajevo. That morning, several assassins lined the streets, armed with bombs and pistols. The first attempt failed. One bomber threw his device, but it missed the Archduke's car. Later that day, fate intervened. Franz Ferdinand decided to visit the hospital where the bombing victims were recovering. His driver, not knowing the route had changed, made a wrong turn. Right there, standing on the street, was Gavrilo Princip, one of the conspirators who thought the plan had failed. Suddenly, the Archduke's car stopped right in front of him. Princip pulled out his pistol and fired 2 shots. Franz Ferdinand was hit. His wife, Sophie, was also struck. Both died within minutes. Europe's powder keg had been lit. The assassination shocked the world, but especially Austria-Hungary. To them, this wasn't just terrorism, it was a direct insult from Serbia. Austria-Hungary decided they needed to punish Serbia to prove their strength. But there was hesitation. Serbia was protected by Russia, so Austria turned to its powerful ally, Germany, for backup. Germany gave them a blank check, basically saying, "Whatever you decide to do, we'll support you." That gave Austria the confidence to act. On July the 23rd, 1914, Austria sent Serbia a harsh ultimatum with impossible demands. Serbia accepted most of them, but refused a few key points. That was enough for Austria. On July 28th, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. The first domino had fallen. Here's where the chain reaction kicks in. Russia, as Serbia's protector, Russia began mobilizing its army. Germany. Seeing Russia mobilize, Germany declared war on Russia on August 1st. France. Russia's ally, France, now faced German hostility. Germany declared war on France on August 3rd. Germany then executed the Schlieffen Plan, their strategy to quickly defeat France by invading through Belgium. But Belgium wasn't just a shortcut. It was neutral territory guaranteed by Britain. Britain. Outraged by the invasion of Belgium, Britain declared war on Germany on August 4th. Within a week, all the great powers of Europe were at war. What should have been a local conflict in the Balkans had exploded into a continental firestorm. And it didn't stop there. This wasn't just a European war. It quickly became a world war. The Ottoman Empire joined Germany and Austria-Hungary, hoping to regain lost power. Japan, allied with Britain, declared war on Germany and seized its colonies in Asia. European empires dragged in their colonies. Troops from India, Africa, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand were sent to fight in Europe and the Middle East. By late 1914, the world was engulfed in war, all from that one assassination in Sarajevo. The war that followed was unlike anything the world had seen before. New technology turned the battlefield into a nightmare. Machine guns, poison gas, artillery barrages, tanks, and airplanes made killing faster and deadlier than ever. Trench warfare created stalemates, where millions of soldiers suffered in mud, rats, and constant shell fire. By the time the war ended in 1918, over 20 million people were dead, and another 21 million wounded. Empires collapsed. Austria-Hungary, Ottoman, Russian, and German. New nations were born, and old ones were reshaped. Britain, though still standing as a global empire, was deeply strained. Its economy weakened, its people exhausted, and cracks in its colonial dominance already beginning to show, and all of it traced back to that one morning in Sarajevo. So let's step back and look at the chain reaction. One assassination in Sarajevo led Austria to attack Serbia. That pulled in Russia, which pulled in Germany, which pulled in France, which pulled in Britain. And before long, the whole world was at war. It's almost unbelievable. One gun, one moment, and the entire world order unraveled. World War I is remembered for its trenches, its battles, and its devastation. But at its heart, it's also a story about how fragile peace can be, and how a single spark can ignite a global firestorm. Because on June 28, 1914, Gavrilo Princip didn't just kill an archduke. He lit the fuse for the First World War. Thank you for watching. Support the channel by subscribing and keep history alive with us.